Hi, how you doing? Well, that meeting was not what I was expecting. It was delayed 48 minutes, which changed the chart quite a bit, and that of course changes quite a few things about how one would interpret it. But I don't think anybody would have expected them to make such a huge live press conference about something that really isn't that important. Really, a space program moved to Alabama? That was that was worthy of calling together a huge press conference and uh, announcing it like it's going to be some huge thing and then delaying for nearly an hour. Hmm. So let's look at this new chart, shall we? It's still a Sagittarius ascendant, so still ruled by Jupiter, but now Jupiter is in the seventh house instead of the eighth house. And so that is now in the realm of legal agreements. And so we have that T square with Mars, Moon, and Jupiter in place. Moon in first house, Jupiter now in seventh, and making a T square to Mars. And so now instead of it reflecting the eighth house values of giving our or giving his duties to someone else, it's now the seventh house where we can see that being about the space program. Sun in the ninth house, so there's that's still moving long distance. Um, let's see what else has changed. The other thing that changed was Saturn and Neptune moved out of fourth house and into third house. So now instead of him going home, which is what I thought earlier, him planning to leave the White House and go home, um, this now moves into the realm of messaging and communication. And here's what I find interesting: Saturn conjunct Neptune. This implies hiding true intentions. This implies not being truthful. And it's easy to just suspect that, but I I am wondering about this because here's what I kept asking the whole time I was listening to this is why was this a live announcement? This could have been an email. What is this about? And I'll tell you what I think. He's obviously been having some health concerns and he went missing for a few days. I think that the whole point of this was just to have a reason to have him on TV. But I'm not even 100% convinced that this was live. This could have easily been something that was discussed at any time. There was one question this entire conference that could have implied that it wasn't live, and that was somebody asked him about if he had seen over the weekend that people were wondering about his health and wondering about if he had passed away because nobody had seen him for a few days. And that was the one thing that made it to where you would think, okay, this is live. Everything else is just the old talking points. We've talked about the space program, but then we talked about LA and we talked about Baltimore and we talked about Pritzker, and apparently now Chicago's a hellhole too. And all the blue states are bad and all the red states are good. And Venezuela's putting drugs in the country. All this crap that we've heard over and over and over again. And it really just seems like this might have been a pre-recorded thing and put out there to give the illusion that everything is fine for now. But why the delay for 48 minutes? What could have possibly have caused a 48-minute delay for a press conference that is so meaningless? This was stupid. I'm honestly irritated that I wasted my time waiting. I waited the whole time because I thought, oh man, this must be a big deal. And the longer I waited, the longer I was like, oh man, it's going to be huge, whatever it is. It's about a space program being moved to Alabama. Awesome. Who cares? But, anyways, I appreciate everybody's views. and everybody's attention on my last video. I really hate that the chart was basically meaningless after being delayed for 48 minutes. Look, with the chart, when it comes to the houses and the house placements, this, like, even 3 or 4 minutes is enough to change a chart. 48 minutes is a completely different chart. And so, sorry to get everybody's hopes up. You know, I was hoping for the good news we were all hoping for too. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I hope you all have a good day. We can look at this chart some more, but those were the big differences. Mercury is also in 8th house instead of in 9th house. So what can you say? Have a good day.